keep asking me other things.
You're there.
Yep.
Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for taking the time to submit to us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Now, I understand there's been a bit of a little bit of a interesting challenge with your timing. So anyway, you get going, and I'll manage my way through you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I wish to speak to my submission in opposition to the self-ID clauses of the bill. As one of the many transsexuals who oppose supporting this, we also support groups such as Speak Up for Women, Women's Sport Australasia, and many of the other submitters who I'm actually quite surprised at how many there are who oppose it. I ask you all to please consider my submission, to take the time to read it, please. There is a lot in it, okay, and I question a lot, such as the weight of being put upon the things like the Okyahara principles, which I noted earlier on Professor Friedman made comment to. And also documents like Counting Ourselves, which is a good document, but it also needs to be considered fairly and openly in its intent, and there's parts of that are in my submission. I consider also the validity of the New Zealand birth certificate, the legal validity of it. The importance of a current birth certificates to transsexuals such as myself, and my support of trans folks. They have every right to identify as they wish to, and I've always maintained that, as long as they don't impact negatively upon other people. The impact of changing of the common definitions are related to that. The real cost, not the emotional inflated cost of currently changing one's sex. I've been through it, and I've had 2 other friends do it in the last 2 years, and it's not what is being purported to. The importance of the difference between sex and gender, and there's a minute part of my story which to show why sex on a birth certificate is important to me and other transsexuals. For me now in this oral submission, because of the limited time, but thank you for giving me it, there are 2 main points. The importance to transsexuals of the current birth certificate and the validity of a birth certificate. As my story and my submission shows, for transsexuals it is all about our sex, not our gender or gender identity. I don't even know what my gender identity is. Okay, do you know what yours is? Male and female are sexes, not genders. Our sex is important to transsexuals. We go from one sex to another sex, from male to female to male, F to M, M to F. The achievement is a birth certificate with the correct M or F on it. Many frame it and hang it on their walls. Okay, you are looking to changing all this and deleting what is important to so many. Merely saying you want to give trans people a legal identity document that better represents how they identify as. I've heard it so many times. But what about natal men, natal female, and transsexuals? Do we count? So the Labor Party and the Greens and others are selling themselves to trans people as wanting to give them a legal identity document, a birth certificate that better represents themselves. Okay, what does it currently show? Okay, it shows the full name, sex, date of birth, place of birth. It shows my parents. That's my birth certificate. Okay. A current, down the very bottom of it, here is a warning. Okay, this certificate is not evidence of the identity of the person presenting it. Okay, a current New Zealand birth certificate is actually nothing. It's a wasted piece of paper. It is not a legal identity document. Labor Greens are selling trans folk a dummy. It's a joke. Simply further destroying it, supposedly a legal document. It's been through a lot I've been through a lot in the last few years, last 20 years. It's been really hard. Lost my kids, I've lost a lot of things and all sorts of things. But in 2006 and since, it has been fantastic. Up to the last 2 years. From 2006 to 2019, I was finally whole, complete, as Sangwan Punapun told me. Okay, I was the female I should have been born as. But then all this hoo-ha has caused me to have to reconsider everything. With this wanting to delete sex and put in gender, I don't know my gender. I don't care about it. all the controversy from trans pushing for it and opposition groups pushing back the introduction of biological sex. A birth certificate isn't about biological sex. It's just about sex. You don't have to have a test to determine what you are and what goes on it. I don't even know my gender or my gender identity. I don't know my biological sex either. Never been tested. Can you prove yours? Okay, I doubt that you can. Not with a legal document, because a birth certificate isn't that anymore. But at least I have one thing that probably you don't have. Okay, I have a document here that is a family court order determining my sex. I can prove it. Do you have one? I don't want to use it because it's actually got my male name on it. So what am I? In the last 2 years, I've had to come to terms with I'm not a clock in a frock, okay, because I don't have a penis or testicles. Some would say I'm not even a man. Others would say I'm not a woman. I don't know if I'm a biological male or female, as I've never been tested. Okay, I'm a tranny or an it. Okay, just an it. All right. Okay, will Ms. Teneti allow me to use those in her list of terms? I doubt it. Ms. Kiri said in her speech to Parliament that in 2008, 2017, not 2008, the report, they released a report to be who I am, okay? I was a part of that, and most transsexuals disagreed with a lot in it. But for 15 years, I have happily been just being who I am. But all this is making it wrong. It is now just be who you want to be, okay? Alas, fact and reality always wins out over ideology and dreams. I want to be Wonder Woman, but is that going to happen? Not likely. Now, if you think my de-wigging myself publicly was just theatrical, go ask an older transsexual what that meant, okay? Let's see if you read my submissions. What's my middle name and what airport was it where I had finally arrived? You've got any questions, Peg?
So the role of the select committee is for us to ask you questions.
That's
not for you to ask us questions. So
they're rhetorical questions.
If you've finished your submission, yes. Are there any questions of you from the select committee? Looks like there's not. But I'll just thank you for taking the time to submit to us. And your submission actually is a very different submission than most we've had. So it's valuable from that perspective because it gives us an opinion that probably we haven't had quite the same. So well done, and thank you for taking the time to come and talk to us. Thank you.